Good morning, I'm Rick Roll and I'm here with RefTec International. Today, we're going to talk about the very first thing would be to hook up. The electrical is one. With RefTec, you'll be supplied SO cable with a dedicated twist lock. We have to put that in our power inlet. So we're going to make sure that we twist and lock that. That's connections made. We're going to turn the main power on. So the light says main power is on it, so we're set. As we evacuate or remove anything that's in this unit to get ready to process, we want to make sure that the oil separators, which are here, we have 2 oil separators and they have heaters on them. So we want to make sure they're up to temperature. So we're going to turn on, and this is all page 12 in the manual, we're going to turn on the oil separators so that they'll heat up to let any refrigerant that might be in the oil boil off when we evacuate it. We're going to come around to the front. Again, the valves from our source or from our machine, if that's what we're doing. The inlet valve is open here. Inlet valve going into the machine. This port's going to measure the vacuum. We're going to look at it here on the gauge. Same thing on the outlet. These are all open. The one thing we should watch in particular is that this says the self-evacuation mode. This valve is, like it says here, horizontal. So we want to watch the materials come out of the machine and we're going to evacuate all that. So with that said, everything's open. Now, one of the things we would say before we do this is that we are making one assumption. And if you look at these gauges, it would be easy to make that assumption. It doesn't have refrigerant in it from the process before. So if it had 50 pounds of pressure on here, we would be wrong to hook up a vacuum pump and try to pull that out. If there was remaining refrigerant from the prior work, then we should get a recovery unit and recover that gas first. And we've actually got a method too, and will be one of the other videos of if we wanted to de-inventory the unit, we've got that capability with just this machine. So if you had 50 pounds of pressure, it's not the time to be evacuating it. We'll cover that in another video. So right now, we're ready to evacuate. We're going to turn on the vacuum pump. I'm going to open the gauges. So the vacuum would be here in the center. I'm going to evacuate from the low side of these gauges and the high side. So the vacuum source is here. We're going to evacuate it from the high and the low side. So we're evacuating it from both ports here on the machine. We'll watch this. You can see these gauges have a vacuum indication. We're going to pull it down, let it run for a while. We're actually going to let those heaters warm up, and we'll let this process go. And we might let it vacuum a half hour just to be sure that it's in good shape. We'll let that run for a while and we'll be right back. We're back here at RefTec. We're at the end of the evacuation process that we're going to do. So we wanted to evacuate all these hoses connected to the system and the machine itself. We're going to look and make sure by the gauges that we've got here, we've got 29 inches or better. If you look at the gauges up here, we also have 29 inches of vacuum. So we're ready to disconnect. So what we would do, we're going to close the manifold on both sides and we can stop the vacuum pump. We're going to disconnect the hoses. We can get rid of these. We don't need these. The next step, after we've evacuated the system and the hoses, the next step would be to go to process. So in order to do that, we've got a couple valves that need to be moved. And again, if you look at the manual, it tells you before you process exactly what to do. But this is in the self-evac mode right now. We need to move that valve down. If you look at the labeling here, it says mode valve normal when that valve is down. That's ready to go do the next stop, which will be processing. We're not de-inventorying, and we want this valve to be up. We've evacuated the hoses and the machine. We're really ready to start processing. So that's the end of this video. The next thing we'll come back and we'll talk about the actual process of running refrigerant. That'll be our next video.